Europe, the continent of castles, cathedrals, and bucket list dreams. But in 2025, it's also a minefield of hidden traps waiting to catch travelers off guard. The kind of mistakes that don't just cost you a few extra euros, but can derail your entire trip before it even begins. I've spent more than a decade traveling across Europe, and I thought I'd seen it all. But on our most recent month-long journey through Spain and Portugal, what we uncovered shocked me. Airlines enforcing baggage rules so aggressively that passengers were forced to cough up more than their ticket price at the gate. Airbnb bookings vanishing overnight thanks to sudden government crackdowns. Shoulder season, once the secret hack of savvy travelers, now overcrowded and overpriced. And that's just scratching the surface. The scariest part? Most travelers don't even realize these traps exist until they've already fallen into them. By then it's too late. You're stuck paying hidden fees, losing nights of your trip, or stranded in a train station watching your plans slip away. But here's the good news. Every single one of these disasters is preventable, if you know what to look out for. That's why in today's video, I'm revealing the 10 deadliest Europe travel traps of 2025. Some are brand new, others are familiar hacks that no longer work, and one in particular could save your entire itinerary if you act before wheels up. So don't blink, don't skip ahead, and definitely don't click away. Because missing the final tip might mean the difference between the smooth European adventure you dreamed of and the nightmare every traveler dreads. And before we dive in, hit subscribe and turn on the bell, because I promise you, the traps I'm about to expose are the ones no guidebook dares to mention. 1. The ruthless new airline baggage rules. Budget airlines like Ryanair, EasyJet, and Wizz Air have always had reputations for strict baggage rules, but 2025 has taken enforcement to another level. Gate agents are no longer letting anything slide. Bags go into sizers. Weight limits are checked with precision. If your bag is even half an inch over, you're paying up, often more than the price of your ticket. And don't think this is just a European budget airline problem anymore. U.S. carriers like Delta and American are starting to follow suit, realizing baggage fees are one of their most profitable revenue streams. Here's the trap. Many travelers assume they'll get lucky, that enforcement isn't that bad. Wrong. Airlines know this is easy money, and they're not leaving it on the table. I've watched countless travelers get humiliated at the gate, forced to fork out $75 or more. The fix? Know your airline's exact dimensions before you pack, not at the airport. Tools like willmybagfit.com compare 160+ airlines instantly, so you know ahead of time. Bottom line, don't gamble. In 2025, oversized bags don't sneak by. They cost you, big time. 2. The dress code myth that won't die. For decades, travelers have stressed about what to wear in Europe. Don't wear sneakers. Skip the baseball cap. Avoid athleisure. This advice has floated around like gospel. But here's the truth in 2025, it's outdated and it's a trap. Europe is incredibly diverse. The idea that you'll blend in by dressing a certain way. Pure fallacy. The moment you pull out your phone to translate a menu or ask for directions in English, locals know you're a tourist. Your outfit isn't fooling anyone. What really matters is context and respect. Churches, mosques, and synagogues often require modest attire, and you should absolutely follow those rules. Likewise, attending the opera in Vienna? Yes, dress nicely. But obsessing over every outfit, worrying that your sneakers scream American? That's wasted energy. Rick Steves said it best. To fit in and be culturally sensitive, I watch my manners, not the cut of my clothes. The mistake is thinking clothing will disguise you. It won't. Instead, pack for comfort, respect cultural spaces, and focus on being polite and adaptable. That's how you avoid awkward moments, not by ditching your favorite hoodie. Number 3. Airbnb's European crackdown. One of the biggest shocks for 2025 travelers is the tightening grip on short-term rentals across Europe. Cities fed up with over-tourism and housing shortages are pushing back hard against platforms like Airbnb. In Spain, regulators recently forced Airbnb to delist over 65,000 properties. Athens is banning rentals in its historic center starting January 2025. Budapest has district-wide restrictions rolling out in 2026. And the EU itself now requires platforms to share data directly with governments, making it nearly impossible for illegal listings to slip by. On my recent trip to Valencia, I saw this firsthand. We booked a property through Airbnb only to be told we had to sign an 11-night lease outside the platform because of new regulations. These hoops are becoming increasingly common. Longer minimum stays, business travel-only labels, and even owners switching to private contracts. Here's the trap, assuming you can still score cheap, flexible Airbnbs like it's 2019. The supply is shrinking and the rules are tightening. My advice? Have a plan B. Explore boutique hotels, apart hotels, or vetted local rental agencies. Airbnb won't disappear, but in many cities, it's no longer the easy hack it once was. Before, shoulder season isn't what it used to be. For years, shoulder season was the golden travel hack. Visit in April, May, September, or October, and enjoy smaller crowds, lower prices, and great weather. But in 2025, this hack is losing its magic. More travelers are catching on, and the shoulder season is widening. Cities that used to be comfortably quiet in spring now feel almost as crowded as summer. On our recent trip to Spain and Portugal in late April, we expected calm streets. Instead, Lisbon and Porto were buzzing with tourists, and prices weren't far off from peak season. The reality? Shoulder season is no longer a guaranteed secret weapon. It still beats mid-July chaos, but it's not the bargain or solitude it once was. Here's the smarter play. Look beyond the big-name capitals. Second-tier cities like Valencia, Seville, or Ghent in Belgium offer incredible food, history, and walkability without the crush of tourist crowds. These cities often have better availability and lower costs, even in the new extended shoulder. The trap is relying on outdated hacks. The solution is timing smarter and broadening your horizons beyond the overrun hotspots. 5. Forgetting the language basics. Nothing derails a simple travel moment faster than not being able to communicate. And while Google Translate is a lifesaver, relying on it for everything is a trap. In 2025, it's still essential to know at least a few survival phrases in the local language. Think, please, thank you, excuse me, toilet, and beer. During my recent trip, I found myself fumbling in Spain and Portugal for simple requests that would have been smoother if I had practiced beforehand. Europeans generally appreciate the effort, and even broken phrases earn you goodwill. Refusing to try, on the other hand, screams tourist entitlement. This doesn't mean you need fluency. Apps like Rosetta Stone now focus on practical, travel-ready lessons. Ordering food, asking for directions, checking into hotels. Their speech recognition tools even help you practice pronunciation before you're face-to-face with a waiter. The trap is thinking English will carry you everywhere. It won't. Rural areas, small shops, and even city establishments still value local language basics. A little effort up front makes your trip smoother, less stressful, and often more rewarding. 6. Not carrying cash and backup cards. We live in an increasingly cashless world, but here's the trap, assuming Europe is 100% card-friendly. It's not. While most major cities take cards, you'll inevitably run into a cafe, taxi, or market stall that only accepts cash. And if you're traveling during infrastructure hiccups, like the recent power outages in Spain and Portugal, even card-ready businesses suddenly flip to cash only. I can't count how many times having $50 in my pocket saved the day. Beyond that, carrying multiple credit cards is a must. On my recent trip, a friend brought only an American Express card. Problem? Many European shops and restaurants don't accept Amex. That meant awkward moments where we had to cover him. Pro tip, bring at least one Visa and one MasterCard. And don't make the rookie mistake of splitting the bill in large groups. Many restaurants aren't equipped for it. Instead, have one person pay and settle up via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal later. The trap is assuming plastic solves everything. In 2025, it doesn't. A mix of cash and cards is still the smartest, safest way to travel. 7. Not checking platforms at train stations. Europe's train stations are legendary, but also notorious for confusing layouts. And here's the trap, assuming you'll have time to find your platform at the last minute. On our recent trip through Madrid's Chamartín station, we sat down for breakfast with an hour to spare. Big mistake. By the time we checked our platform, we realized it was nearly a quarter-mile away through construction detours. We sprinted, only to arrive just as the doors shut. The lesson: always locate your platform first, even if you have time to kill. Europe's stations can be sprawling, with platforms tucked behind escalators, construction zones, or confusing signage. Many don't announce gates until the last moment, leaving unprepared travelers scrambling. The cost of missing a train isn't just an hour lost, it can mean rebooking fees, missed connections, or entire schedule shifts. And unlike airports, trains won't hold the door for you. The trap is letting your guard down. The solution is simple: find your platform, then relax. That one habit can save you hours of frustration. 8. Not rebooking flights before you board. One of the most powerful overlooked tricks in air travel is rebooking before you board a delayed flight. Here's the trap. Most travelers assume they have to wait until they miss the connection. Wrong. If you know a delay at your origin airport will make you miss your connection, you can often reroute your entire itinerary before wheels up. On my recent trip, bad weather threatened our connection through Charlotte. Instead of boarding and hoping, I approached the gate agent, explained the timing, and asked for a reroute. Within minutes, our tickets were reissued from Philly to Madrid instead. We avoided being stranded in Charlotte overnight. This move only works if you catch it early. Once you board, options shrink dramatically. Airlines are more flexible when they can fix the problem proactively, rather than scrambling after missed flights. The trap is waiting until it's too late. The fix: speak up before you board. The worst they can say is no. The best case scenario: you save your entire itinerary. Yay. 9. Assuming kids aren't welcome. A lot of American parents hesitate to take their kids to Europe, worried they'll be met with eye rolls in restaurants or hotels. But here's the trap: assuming Europe isn't kid-friendly. In fact, it's often more welcoming than the US. On our trip, we saw countless examples. In Portugal, bus drivers stopped to prioritize families. In Spain, restaurant staff went out of their way to make our daughter laugh, even slipping her desserts on the house. Gate agents pulled us from crowds to pre-board flights. Instead of treating kids as inconveniences, families were seen as natural, welcome participants in public life. That's not to say it's always easy. Jet-lagged toddlers are no joke. But the fear of being unwelcome is largely unfounded. In many European countries, children are integrated into daily culture, eating out, exploring cities, riding public transit. The trap is letting fear hold you back. The truth? Traveling with kids in Europe can be challenging, but it's often more rewarding and more supported than at home. 10. Following outdated safety myths. Finally, let's talk safety. The internet is flooded with dated warnings about dangerous European cities, pickpockets on every corner, or scams that sound ripped from the 1990s. While yes, you should stay alert, the real trap is wasting energy on old advice that doesn't match today's realities. Pickpocketing still exists, especially in hotspots like Barcelona or Rome, but obsessing over it to the point of paranoia ruins your trip. The bigger risks are things like digital scams, fake Wi-Fi networks, phishing emails, or fraudulent booking sites. Likewise, ignoring official advisories while stressing about gypsy scams is misplaced energy. The solution? Stay balanced. Use money belts if they give you peace of mind, but don't think they make you invincible. Watch your bags in crowds, but don't panic every time someone brushes past you. Instead, focus on modern risks. Secure your phone, use trusted booking platforms, and know your emergency numbers. The trap is clinging to fear-based, outdated safety tips. The real move is traveling smart, not scared. So there you have it. 10 Europe travel traps in 2025 that no one is warning you about. From ruthless baggage checks to Airbnb crackdowns, crowded shoulder seasons to rebooking secrets, these are the things that can make or break your trip. The good news? Every single one of these traps is avoidable if you know what to expect. That's why I make these videos, so you can travel smarter, spend less, and enjoy more. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these traps surprised you the most? Drop a comment below. I read them all. And if you've got your own Europe travel hack or horror story, share it with the community. Before you go, hit subscribe and tap the bell. Because the next time you step foot in Europe, I want you armed with the latest travel intel, not outdated advice. Happy travels, and I'll see you in the next video.